Farzana, ma'am, Mansi, we are live now on Facebook, Mansi.
Okay. So should we begin, ma'am?
Yes, please.
Okay. A warm welcome to all the panelists and all attendees. We have over 700 registrations for today, and already 100 of them are on live on Zoom. So I welcome everybody, and I hand over the speaker to Swati ma'am. She will be explaining the flow of the day, and then we begin with our sessions. Over to you, ma'am.
Namaskar to the entire audience of wonderful educators. And we have a few parents also who have joined in. Because there's always an educator in every parent. So I think when we talk about educators, we are talking about anybody who's interested in young children and how life and learning impacts them. Today's session is very unusual. You have joined us for a lot of webinars. They've all been panel discussions. Today is the first ever ECA APER Talks. So this is a format in which every speaker that we have, and we have 7 of them today, every speaker will spend 7 minutes talking about a different topic, a topic that is very close to their heart, a topic that they are very passionate about, and a topic that will help educators understand, learn, and relearn some concepts which will help them during lockdown and also help them beyond the lockdown. So this is the first in our series of ECA APER Talks. And we are very happy to bring this new format to you. And we will be very happy to get your feedback on this format because we want to make this into a regular thing. Every week, we plan to bring you an ECA APER talk with 6 different speakers. So we are very proud to have the speakers here today. Mansi will be introducing all of them one by one. We're going to be starting. So whether it is early years or primary years, the talks are pertaining to both. And that is the benefit of this entire session, that it's not only related to early years. So I hand over to Mansi. Mansi, if you can just quickly name the 7 speakers for today and then introduce the first speaker.
Sure. Thank you, ma'am. Firstly, it's a great way to start the week, and we are very happy to have the first ever talk show, like ma'am mentioned. We have 7 inspiring, dynamic speakers today with us. We have Miss Farzana Dohadwala, we have Dr. Rita Sonawat, we have Miss Rekha Shahani, Miss Kusum Kanwar, Miss Harsha Girish Ramaya, Miss Sangeeta Puri, and Dr. Swati Popat Watts. So here I take an honor to introduce our first speaker of the day, Miss Farzana Dohadwala. She is an earlier IB representative for South Asia, Senior Academic Director, Fazlani Le Academy Global, and also Vice President for APER, Association for Primary Education and Research. Welcome, ma'am. I hand over the speaking to you.
I would just like to say something, ma'am, before you start. I would request the other speakers to please put their mics on mute when another speaker is talking. And I urge the audience, keep posting your questions. If we have time, we will take those questions. Otherwise, we will definitely reach out to you with the answers. Over to you, Farzana, ma'am.
Thank you so much. And good afternoon to all present today. And I would just like to say, Swati, this is a super duper idea of yours to have the ECA APER talks. My topic for today is the connect between the home and the school. And especially in these lockdown times, it's very, very important. What I have done is I have used the acronym CONNECT, and I'm trying to give you some tips in 7 minutes because the time is 7 minutes. So for me, this homeschool connection is a bridge which will help and benefit our students, our children. So if we begin, C stands for communication. When you have a better bridge between the parent and the child, the communication will help. Just to give a very quick example, we had one school parent communicating with their management and telling them, we can't pay the fees. So the management, being open-ended, tweaked their software so you could pay monthly, you could pay quarterly. So this communication between home and school, when it is open, it helps. The next letter in the acronym of the CONNECT is O. O is opportunities. this lockdown period has given us a lot of opportunities. It has helped us, and this connect between the home and school was never so great as it has happened today. I would also urge all teachers and parents who are listening in, please work on this connect, because it's going to help us enrich the lives of our children. The next letter in the acronym is N. N is networking. We have always been in competition. Within a school, teachers were in competition with one another. Parents of a class used to be in competition with one another. Suddenly, in this new normal, competition is out and networking is in. We're trying to help one another to cope and to help our child in their journey. So please network with your friends and help on. The next N in my connect is nurturing. We need to nurture. This is a relationship between home and school, which is new for us in this new normal. We need to nurture, we need to be mindful. If a child is not attended a session, it's fine. Pick up the phone and ask the parent. There may be an issue why the child was not able to join. So nurture this relationship. E, emotional distancing. Everybody talks about social distancing, but as an educator, I am very, very worried about the emotional distancing that this whole issue of lockdown has happened. So again, with the School Home Connect, I would advise teachers in their talks, every time they do the online session, for the first 1 minute or so, talk to the children. Just let them ramble whatever they want. They will feel the connect. Also, urge your parents in this chat that you have, that they should do some video conferencing, video calls with a friend, so that the child is able to connect with his friend. Friendships grow. They should not be lost. The next is C. We've all been talking about 21st century skills, and I know all of us have spent a lot of money in training our teachers. I think the time is now. In this Homeschool Connect, if we were to weave in 21st century skills, life skills, our kids would become winners at the end in the skill sets that they would gain. So teachers, urge you to weave in life skills into your whatever lesson plans that you make. The last in connect is T. T, teacher, T, technology. But for me, T is also meaning the parent, because now in this new normal, the parent has also become a teacher. Homeschooling, which was a dream we had, has now become actuality. In actual fact, we are having homeschooling happening. So I think the homeschool connection, the teachers should be able to connect, because parents will add a lot of value. These half an hour, 2 hours, whatever is the age group, and we have these sessions, we should be able to help our parents to adapt and to, in fact, take the concept a bit ahead. If I have time, I could add that if you are doing a chapter on plants for some reason, help the child grow a plant at home, so that connect. But a parent is not a teacher, please understand. So if you have this Homeschool Connect, the teacher can advise through an email what the parent can do at home to help the child understand the concept better. So for me, I'm quite a Bollywood fan, friends. And as in Chennai Express, Shah Rukh Khan has said, don't underestimate the power of the common man. I would say, don't underestimate the power of this home connection. Home and school are there. They are going to work together in the new normal, not during lockdown, even post-lockdown. I think most of the next academic year is going to be that. So thank you, Swati ma'am. Thank you, audience. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Farzana ma'am. It was great indeed to listen to you and have some wonderful insights by you. The next speaker that we have for the day is Dr. Rita Sunawat, former Dean for Ascendancy Women's University, Executive Director of ECA, and her topic for today will be Empower Educators to Engage Families. So I request Farzana ma'am to put your mic on mute, and I will hand over it to Rita ma'am to start with her topic for the day.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Mansi, for your kind introduction. the topic which is chosen by me definitely, but I'll break this topic into two. First part, I will be dealing with empowering educator, which Farzana has done a really good job with her acronym. And second topic, which I will be choosing, is related to that, is engaging families. So in this case, what we need to understand first is, when we talk about engaging families, we have two type of families. One type of family which is completely engaged, and another type of family which is completely disengaged, or they don't engage at all with the children. So first type of family will all the time nagging children and asking children to do all the things like go for the brush, go for the brush, go for the bath, have breakfast, have breakfast. Many times this family is going to speak like this. And another family which is disengaging family is the breakfast is kept on the table, come and have it, and then they are into themselves. So what we are understanding here as an early childhood educator, that we need to, when we are talking about the family, we need to understand what is the parameters which are given by the research as well as theory, and how we can include family and engage with the child rearing practices. So I'm taking one theory that is a very favorite of everybody, that is Erik Erikson. And we all know that Erikson has given 8 stages. I'll be speaking about 2 stages where the Erikson is talking about autonomy versus shame. And here the virtue he is giving as a will. So the families need to understand that this is a time when the child is at toddler age, to give them autonomy. Let them do their task by themselves. Because once they will eat by themselves, they will brush by themselves, they will take bath by themselves, they will wear clothes by themselves, then only they will be understanding it is okay to be me. And this understanding helps them throughout their life. They have a strong belief in themselves that it is always okay if I am in myself. Second stage is initiative versus guilt. Here again, this is a preschool age. The children, they take a lot of initiative. They want to do things by themselves. And when they take initiative, it is important for the family members to encourage them for their initiatives. This initiative will definitely look very odd to the parents, but it is very important for the child. So if this kind of initiatives are given to the children, and if children are taking the initiative and supported by the family, then the child will develop a purpose in life. And these two virtues, will and purpose, will help them in their later life. And then only child can say, I can make it is in the world of people and things. So I can make it. So that kind of confidence child is getting from this age and reflect in their later life. So it's very important for us to understand as a family to develop child in a very different way. And there, another thing which is important here is, apart from the theory, we are talking about the researches. There are many researches which are done in relation to metacognition. And metacognition is saying at home, it's again very important for the parents to give high order of thinking to the child. If child is asking a question, then on that question, if parents are asking another question to the child, and that question is clarifying also and giving child higher order of thinking, then this child will be definitely developing metacognition. So as a family, if they are understanding the whole concept of metacognition, where the children, they are knowing something, so whatever they know, let them do by themselves. Then they are learning how to do about it, how to go about it. So the process. So when the child is knowing the process, then ask them what are the steps you have used. And there, if you think of adding the step or reducing the step, as a scaffolder, you can help the child. And the third is conditional knowledge, where we talk about when the children are asking when and why. There are 2 books available in the market also, When and Why of Child. So these are the cognition where the children are all the time asking why and when this thing is done. So this curious mind is helping them in a conditional knowledge. So these are all theoretical and research-based concepts which the teachers should be knowing, and make these concepts in a very simple way to reach out to the parents. So how the teacher can be empowered? The first and foremost important is the teacher should be knowing all these concepts thoroughly, and she should be knowing how to apply in day-to-day life. And application of this concept, if she is giving to the families, then it is very easy for the families to adopt. So teachers need to have a higher level of qualification where they know all these subjects thoroughly, and application. So the practical aspect of the theory should also be taught to them, and then communication skills. So how to deal with, how to work with the parents, because most of the time when we are having training, the teachers, they say, but our parents are saying writing is very important, so we have to include writing in our curriculum. Parents, they want this way, so we are doing. So to change this, it is very important that if teacher is empowered and she knows how to talk to the parents, then only she will be giving answer through the theory and research based, and make it so simple and crisp to the parents that parents will be definitely understanding. Parents are very ambitious, and we know parents, they want their children to be after birth only go to the IIT. So all these things are very well reported and written by many scholars. But what we need to understand here is parents should be considering more of a social and emotional development of the child. Today, if you see the research train on the emotional aspect, you'll be seeing aggression and stubborn behavior has increasing a lot. Children are pulling, pushing, pinching. All these behavior are seen commonly in preschool as well as at home. So, and stubborn, they want to do their way only. So these kind of behavior which are there, how to handle, these are the issues which parents and families they are facing. And to deal with, it is very important that the teacher should have a complete knowledge, and she should give some cognitive behavioral strategies to the families. So families can be easily apply these strategies and help the child. So the child is helped at home, and once the behavior is conducive, then this child will be growing very smoothly in today's world. So it's very important nowadays what we can do in the lockdown period. So Swati is writing many blogs. So blog writing can be very important message one can give to the families. Apart from that, we can send some videos where the strategies are given for the families to help the children. And apart from social and behavioral, we can have third aspect to help the families is to develop the immunity of the child. And for the developing immunity of the child, there are 2 steps which are very important. The first is to take care of the nutrition of the child. And in the nutrition of the child, we can add citrus fruits and vegetables, turmeric, ginger, garlic, these kind of things in a food. If we are adding, even the berries and pineapple can also help the children for developing the immunity. With that, exercises. If the parents are doing exercises and with them, if they involve children also and do together like music and movement, This is play the music, and on the music, if the parents are dancing or playing with the child, or doing some activity with that, like poses, making different poses, passing the parcel they can play. So this kind of game they can play. So this game has a lot of power. Plays power. Early childhood education have understood very well. The children are happy when they are playing. So this power of play we can use in the families, and whole family together involved in various type of plays, then only they can be empowered. So here it's a responsibility of a teacher to develop herself so well and so confident that whatever she is telling the families is seeing that as a very important document and using it on the welfare and the development of the child. So that in the future, this child will be helped. Thank you, Mansi.
Thank you, ma'am. It was really insightful session, and I'm sure there are people who are writing a lot of comments, and there will be questions which we can take later on. I would like to introduce our next speaker of the day, Ms. Rekha Shahani. She is the former principal, Kamla High School, and diplomatic secretary of ECA and APA. Her topic for today is one of my favorites, being creative today, tomorrow, and always. So over to you, Rekha, ma'am.
Thank you, Mansi. It's one of my favorite topics also, because I feel that we are very creative. We are born creative, but somewhere, when we get into education, wo dhul hum pe jam jati hai, and we stop being creative and we start copying everybody. So for me, creativity is nothing right or nothing wrong. We just need to look into our own self and what we want to show the world. So maybe the product is already ready, but we either innovate and create it in a better way, whether it's the way we walk, the way we talk, the way we make our own cupboard. And this lockdown period gives us a lot of chance to be creative. And I felt that instead of telling you all what is creativity and how you need to do it, I will just share what I have been doing during my free time and trying to be very creative. Because I don't know if you all are aware, last week was it was an International Creativity Day, 21st of April, and it was during the 2017 General Assembly of the United Nations that they had felt that creativity and innovation are the biggest pillars of entrepreneurship. And we have seen how creativity with technology that has come up today, children are becoming more creative, women are becoming more creative, businessmen are becoming more creative, So what is there also, we are trying to be more creative. So I would say during this lockdown period, please do not throw anything. Just like let us be a bhangarwala for some time, and then let's be creative with it. I'll give you an example. I was not getting milk, so I couldn't make curd. So I was buying curd, and why waste the curd? So I use my pistachio shells to, the great Amul Dabbako. Whatever I had in my house, I was using. And this, if you see, are the outer cover of the pistachio shells, which were left of the pistachios. I use them also. And then the other, I had little sequins. So I let the cover be there. And I also I wonder if you all can see it. Can you see it? Mansi, can you see?
Yes, a bit. I mean, it's not seen clearly because maybe the background.
Okay. So do you see this bottle? And this bottle is more of, it's got a plant in it. So, sorry, they can't see, somebody said.
Rekha, actually, because of your background, we are not able to see the items actually. Can you put it right in front of your face?
You know what?
Yeah.
I will just go to a different background. Is this better? Can you see now or not?
No. You can, if you can remove the background.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, this is fine. Yeah, this is perfect.
Yeah, so this is a bottle, nowadays sanitizer bottles we are remaining. So I've just put some little colored pebbles and I put the bamboo shoot over there. So we can tell our children to do different things. And whatever, like some of my friends were sharing that they have a lot of boxes coming in their house. So I had one box, so I just put some jewelry box and, gave it a different compartment so that we could put, and children love to do that. we were also talking that we are not being dishonest with our children. So if we are talking about increasing their vocabulary, how do we do it? So if they are hearing the word police, doctors and all the time, how about actually talking to them that, yes, doctor spelling is this. Now, what does D stand for you during this lockdown time? And you can increase the vocabulary. And there was this little child who said, for me, D is development. And the other person said, no, for me, D is discipline. And we had a great game, like, across on a Zoom, even on WhatsApp video, that what all these words meant to us, but not connected with the lockdown. So like when we were talking about C, a lot of children came up with compassion. They talk about collaboration. They talk about cooperation. And there were so many things that which they could actually increase their vocabulary. So one thing that I feel that we could do with our children is have an empty jar like I have mine. And then every evening we could tell our children that put in this jar one thing that you learned during that day, or one thing that you're thankful for during the day. And then, when the lockdown period is over, we could all sit and check one and actually share it with each other. So even if they are angry on a particular day and they put it in that jar, it's perfectly fine. We are teaching them how to express their emotions, So there was this little jeans which my friend sent it to me saying, now is the time to give away. So I said, I'll tell you what I'm going to do with the jeans. So I cut the jeans and I made a nice bag out of it, of the leg portion. So I had these little putties in my house. So I said, come, I have a now nice bag, and I love pebbles. So I made each pebble for all these friends over here. So I made this of love, and then I made this of joy, and I made this of peace. So, different, and I made this which says love self. So before I am going to talk about loving others, whom do I love? And of course, I got myself a Milkmaid tin. So I kept the original thing there, but I also put it down, like whatever. See, you can see my bindi over here. So I don't use my bindi more than once. So where do I put it? So I put it for my recycling. And friends, a time is going to come when recycling is going to be one of our greatest projects in the world. India was famous for that, but somehow we have lost out on that. As children, we have seen how a mochi cobbler, he used to take old tires and repair our shoes and slippers. So creativity could be in maths, it could be in science. I think if we give freedom to our children, we will get their original creativity, and there is nothing right or wrong. Maybe during this period, if they're doing art, I am doing some art and I just told, I did this, I'm doing this. So I have put down my name, but I have not finished the artwork. So I was telling my daughter, you don't have to understand the art, you have to understand the artist. So like M.F. Hussain made all horses, and we've really paid in lakhs for his product. The same way, Raza was in squares and circles. Maybe our children would give us such fantastic creative work in any form. Music, with vessels, they could create music. Whoever thought that rap would come up in such a big way in our country or all over the world? So, little things, like I said, sanitizer bottle. So I colored my sanitizer bottle and made, now today I'll put another plant in this and I will give it to my neighbor to put it in the balcony. So, different things of art. It could be in music, it could be in drawing, it could be in maths, it could be, and even the number 19. I think for us also, for our sanity, is that are we writing 19 to 19 letters? Are we writing 19 blessings every day? Are we seeing only the negative side? And friends, if you're creative in anything, you can write a paragraph without checking the grammar and spelling. Let the flow be there. We may become an artist, It's amazing things that we can do during this period, because never forget, and like ma'am said, never underestimate the power. So we should not underestimate what we can do during this period. Creativity, starting letting your children make your plats and letting them color blue and white or whatever color you have at home with tea leaves, and actually trying on different makeups and different nail polishes, different drawings, and we will have great and happy people at the end of this lockdown period. Thank you very much, everybody, and see you all soon again.
This was an amazing, fantastic session. And Rekha, I'm booking some things for myself from your work.
Sure.
Yeah.
No copyright. You all can take it.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much for the wonderful session, Rekha ma'am. Let me introduce the next speaker. We have Miss Kusum Kanwar. She is the MD for Kangaroo Kids, Kandivali East. She's the CEO for Adapt Skills and Secretary for APA. Welcome, Kusum. And I hand over the session to you. And her topic will be as interesting as others, schooling in the unlock mode. It's a very interesting topic. So I hand over now to Kusum. Kusum, are you there? Hello? Kusum, are you there? Okay, I think we have lost connect for Kusum. We can move on to the next speaker, and when Kusum joins back, we can maybe have Kusum to speak on her topic. So it's my privilege to introduce a very good friend of mine and one of the most spontaneous person I know from ECA and APER, Ms. Harsha Girish Ramaya. She is the founder director for Small Wonders, ECA National Core Committee member, president for the TIE Association, and admin for the First Moms Club. We all are waiting to hear you, Harsha. The topic that she's given is again fantastic one, Educator 2.0, redefining the role of an educator. We all look forward to hearing you, Harsha. Over to you.
Thank you, Mansi, for such a generous introduction. And the topic I have chosen to speak today is Educator 2.0. We have come across this word 2.0 on and often in this period of lockdown, so I decided to speak over it. And when we talk about redefining the role of an educator, exactly redefine is to recreate, reframe, revisit, rethink, reformulate, reframe. But what I have understood, because now we all are digital, so much digital that I have, picked up that word and I have added refresh. Because we all understand when we go digital how important it is to use this button refresh. So when we associate this word refresh with our educator, I think if we can build that connect, the process of redefining the role of an educator has already started. So to more take this further, I have created an acronym, as Farzana ma'am has very rightly created wonderful acronym. So what I did is I have broken this word of educator, 8-letter word educator, and for each letter I have added a representation in form of an acronym. Now when we run through this acronym, what we can do is, we can do that join the dots activity, which we do for the preschoolers. And when we are able to join each and every letter with its representation, I think building or redefining the educator will be in process. So when I was creating this acronym, what happened, when I started recreating with letter E, lot of adjectives, lot of characteristics came to my mind, but I picked up 3 main for each letter. And when we sum up all these 3, and when we are able to, assimilate or make an amalgamation, I think the role of 2.0 educator is in process. So letter E stands for effectual, empowered, and enthusiastic. All 3 qualities or the characteristics for an educator is very, very important. I will not go in detail of each characteristic, but I'm just giving a highlight or a gist. Now for letter D, developing, driven, and down to earth. U, unafraid, understanding, and understandable. Letter C, wonderful letter C. There are a lot of adjectives that I came across, but I've shortlisted 4: calm, changeable, courageous. I would like to underline this word when it comes to educator, courageous, and contemporary. Now, letter A, accelerated,
advanced, available. Letter T. Letter T I found to be very important in the whole educator word because it sums up the educator. Take charge, tireless, and tough. I think if we can combine these through when we are, redefining the role of an educator, it makes a fantastic educator in us. Letter O also has surprising things to tell us. Okay, open-minded, organized. And letter R, it also comes with a lot of things telling us to be rational, resilient, resourceful, and revolutionary. So these are all the ingredients when you are talking about, redefining the role of an educator. The ingredients remain the same, but steering them on and often, using the refresh button on and often keeps us going, and it keeps the process of redefining an educator in us. So I think the characteristics always remain the same, but it's how you use it and how you reframe, recreate, and I would say refresh. That is all from my side. Thank you so much, Mansi. Thank you.
Thank you, Harsha. I must say this session was from an educator who herself is the educator 2.0. Right? So we have Kusum back with us. Welcome back, Kusum.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would like to introduce Kusum once again. Ms. Kusum Kanwar is the MD for Kangaroo Kids Kandivali East in Mumbai. She's the CEO for Adapt Skills and Secretary at APER. And we welcome Kusum. And the topic for today is schooling in the unlock mode. It's a very interesting topic. I hand over the mic.
Thank you so much, Mansi, for the introduction. And sorry, I'm having some connection issues here. Too many users at home. So I'll just straight away go on to my topic. So for a while now, while educators around the world have been talking about the need to rethink how we educate future generations, this will be just the disruption that our sector needed. Now, time to rethink what we need to teach, how we educate and prepare our children for the VUCA world that we have been speaking of all this time. That's volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous world. So when schools finally are in the unlock mode, there'll be caution maintained by both sides. That's both the parents and the schools. Children's health, safety, and well-being will be the prime focus for all of us. This mode will also involve a commitment to mental health and well-being for a long, uncertain time until a vaccination for immunity is found or developed. So I could call it a cope mechanism for all of us, at every juncture in the unlock mode that we will be. That would be connection, that would be organization, perspective, and endurance. So in the VUCA world, which is already at our doorstep, in this unlock mode, schools and families together will need to figure out their responsible roles in assisting schooling for the children. So mind you, here we are talking about both the parents and the schools together. So as far as the generation Z and Alpha are concerned, for them, technology is simply an extension of their own consciousness and identity with social media. So moving to a virtual classroom or a virtual mode for them now becomes a way of life for them. So parents and schools will see a huge change in perspective to help children continue to develop skills rather than trying to recreate the school content by assigning extra worksheets, flashcards, or even textbook lessons. Critical skills for children at all grade levels, including reading, problem solving, and communication will be a given. Added to this urgency are the social emotional skills of resilience, of collaboration, of flexibility, and positive coping skills. So as schools move to a remote learning environment, teams will provide online classrooms that brings together virtual face-to-face connections. There'll be assignments, files, and conversations into a single platform that's accessible on a mobile device, on a tablet, on PC, or any browser. So as education will be nudged and pushed to change, most schools will ensure a digital 5G upgrade. We will have to see a lot of infrastructure change where virtual mode is concerned. We will see learners and solution providers truly embracing learning anywhere, anytime. So the concept of digital education in a range of formats and modalities like the blended learning, flipped classrooms, using artificial intelligence now becomes a reality. This generation in the unlock mode will see the power of working collaboratively to solve the world's biggest challenges. Some of them, if I could quote, are the climate changes, the mental health being on top of the agenda for many students that I know of also. So teaching life skills needed for the future will be pertinent. Creativity, communication, collaboration, empathy, and emotional intelligence skills are proving to be essential and effective during this lockdown, which will continue in the unlock times as well. So we will have to take this opportunity to remind ourselves of the skills students need in this VUCA world. To ensure all these skills remain a priority for all students, we will adopt resilience, adaptability, which will be crucial for the next generations entering work. On the curriculum content, we will see innovations to optimize learning. A hybrid form of education will augment that which has the best blend of online and in-school mode for pure connection. However, once the immunity vaccination is in place, this will take steam. It's only then parents and schools will be comfortable with the blended, flipped, and hybrid modalities. Further on, traditional in-person new learning modalities from live broadcasts to educational influencers on virtual reality experiences will be order of the day. Now, the lockdown risk control decisions actually have led to 1 million of students into temporary learning at home mode and learning at home situations. Now, there are many signs suggesting that it could have just a lasting impact on the trajectory or the path of learning that points at future transformations like homeschooling too. So the COVID-19 crisis may well change our world and our global outlook. It will show us how education needs to change to be able to better prepare our young learners for what the future might hold. There is more than this crisis that will require from all of us. Skills like endurance, like stamina, courage, and phases of adjustment. So a cope mechanism that's connection, organization, perspective, and endurance at every step of building our attitude and resilience is the key. So let's be prepared for the VUCA world and schooling in the unlock mode. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kusum ma'am. It was yet another very, very good session where we got a lot of insights, and I'm actually reading all the comments simultaneously, which are being featured on the screen as well. We have our next speaker of the day, and I'm going to listen to her for the first time. So I'm so looking forward to it, Sangeeta ma'am. You can put yourself on unmute. And Miss Sangeeta Puri is the headmistress and chief of non-academic board in Children's Academic Group of Schools. She is also the joint secretary of National Committee at APA. Topic for the day will be learning from lockdown for life after lockdown. That is indeed a wonderful topic, ma'am. Hand over to you.
Thank you, Mansi. Good afternoon, all my fellow speakers and the wonderful audience. It is what when we say about the learning, and learning can be good and wonderful whether the experience is good or bad. So I believe I'm very optimistic. So I start from there. And before I start with anything else, I agree with Farzana ma'am when she says it is an opportunity. Yes, it's an opportunity for us to learn. I'll start with a small anecdote where this little rat feels that I am smarter and I have all of it. I can do everything. He runs to this yogi and very cleverly asked him to grant a wish. Please make me a cat. This is very, very fearful because the cats are always killing us. Yogi says, yes, be it. And the rat becomes the cat. Very soon, he runs back to the yogi and says, no, the dogs are chasing us away. Please make me the dog. And the dil mange more, yogi says, yes, be it. The rat becomes the dog. But this dog is again not satisfied, just like all our human instincts where we say it has to be more. The dog runs back to the yogi and says, no, we still fear the lions and the tigers. And I want to be the strongest. I want to rule the world. The yogi says, okay, be the lion. As soon as this rat turns into a lion, he realizes that now I am indispensable. I'm the ruler of the world. And he can sense and smell the flesh of yogi. But yogi, being the creator, was a step ahead. He turns this lion back to the rat. I think in this lockdown, the creator must have thought that you all humans have tried and tested my gift of nature a lot. Let me lock you down back and take care of this creation. So I would say that Earth is under maintenance and we are almost there inside waiting for this creator to take charge of things. So that is one perspective of this lockdown. The second one I would say is that when we look at being at home, where we felt that we can reach everywhere and we can do everything, today each and every human being and every stakeholder, especially the parents and the children, if I look at, have learned the importance and the difference between the needs and wants. We had forgotten what our basic needs, and we always wanted to live in this luxury. Today, we are back in this lockdown and able to manage with the basic minimal resources, which are the prerequisite to fulfill our basic needs. And that is when parents would understand that when they say that the children don't listen to us, they demand a lot. But today is the time when we can sit back and tell them that we can manage with the little that we have at home. The next important point I would look at is that this lockdown has probably brought us, this social distancing has brought us and taught us the new meaning of socializing. I think we were all socializing with our own respective age groups. Children wanted to be with their own age group. The young generation wanted to be with their own age group. Parents were in their own spree of the race of running around. So adults and children, everyone has come back to this core family value, back to roots of understanding that we can be together. And this is the time we can help each other and we can socialize with our own families. We can spend some good quality time sitting at home. We don't have to run to malls and we don't have to run for any entertainment outside. We can find entertainment at home with our own family members. At the same time, it's not just taking us back to our roots. I feel it's also a beautiful amalgamation of the futuristic world. If way back our Prime Minister would have not dreamt about a digital India, I think we would all be lost today. So thanks to our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, who looked at let's make India a digital world. I think way back in 2013 or 14, he thought of this. And today we are equipped and we are connecting with this world today sitting at home. So this digital future world has given us a very new meaning to connect with people. And at this time, people have to understand that especially teachers and educators that if we don't sharpen our tools, we are going to be redundant. We have to hone our talents. We have to move with the fast pacing world and connect with this world the way they want us to be connected. This is one learning for teachers and educators. Educators will have to understand, we all have to understand that the new normal is never going to be the same old normal. We are going to be in a phase where this future will have to have a hybrid model, as Kusum said, hybrid model of old and new. We can't go back to our old schooling. We will have to bring a beautiful combination of reaching out to the children. So when we move into this new world, education, schooling, which is going to have a very different phase and a very different outlook altogether, we have to embrace it and move ahead with this. And at that time, my worry is again still with the little ones and the special children whom we look at in our regular schooling. We see that those 70-80% of the children learn anyways. They learn when it's a regular class. They are learning even now with this online world. But about those 10-20% who are these special children who need special attention, who need much more than just being there. We have to equip, we have to learn to equip them to how to learn rather than what to learn. If we don't move to this change, we are going to be stuck up and these little ones are still at a loss. So I think, friends, it's time for us to innovate, collaborate, scale up, and just not about the education. It is more important to take care of this environment that we have been taking it for granted. Let us ensure that every individual who is around us is taken care of. Their emotional well-being is looked at, not just for your own self, but also about all the other individuals around us, along with definitely the nature and the environment. So let's gear up together and embrace this new life after lockdown. Thank you.
Thank you, Sangeeta ma'am. As I told you, it was my first session to hear you, and it was indeed amazing to hear on the topic you had mentioned. The next, seventh, and the last inspiring speaker, the dynamic person that we have with us is Dr. Swati Popat-Vats. It's an honor to introduce you, ma'am. You don't need any introduction, but it's my honor that I'm going to introduce you.
Why don't we skip it?
No, ma'am, it is my honor. So let me take that honor. So Dr. Swati Popat-Vats is the president of Podar Education Network, Early Childhood Association India, and Association for Primary Education and Research, APER. Thank you so much, ma'am. And I hand over the speaker to you.
Thank you so much, Mansi. First of all, I must congratulate Mansi for being such a brilliant host. So here is a large applause for you, because you have seamlessly taken us from one speaker to the other, and a job well done. To all the speakers, namaste, and thank you for being here with us today. Each one of you was so brilliant. In fact, Harsha, we want to convert your session into a poster, because I'm sure every school would want to have those acronyms of educator. And to the entire audience, here is my pyar bhara namaskar. First, before we start, I have a small exercise for you, and it is part of my session. So I want you all, I'm going to count up to 5, and I want you all to go and get your favorite thing or the nearest object that you can find. So either get me your favorite object or get me the nearest object that you can find. So are we ready? Wonderful. So let's go. Tick, tick 1, tick, tick 2, tick, tick 3, tick, tick 4, and tick, tick 5. Did we all get it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. My object was this. Okay. So at the end of my session, I'm going to tell you how my session can be used for this object that you all have with you. So my session is basically KISS in lockdown. Yes, we are maintaining social distancing, And the kiss in lockdown sounds like, oh my God, is she going to tell us to go and kiss our neighbors? No. But yes, kiss is something that you do usually when you feel close to somebody or when you feel emotional about somebody. So KISS for me is an acronym, and I'm going to take you through that acronym of why KISS in lockdown. So KISS is basically just 4 letters, KISS. And when I read about child abuse happening these days, I feel the best 4-letter word that you can use during lockdown is KISS. So it is very important that whenever you are angry, kiss. Whenever you are upset, kiss. If you can't kiss the person because of social distancing, do this. If you can't see the person, send that emoji. You know that emoji? You can send that emoji across. But it is very important for us to remember the word KISS and hence the acronym. So K stands for kinesthetic learning. It is very important for all of us to understand that at early childhood stage especially, the brain is developing. Veerpal Kaur has sent me a lot of so thank you, Veerpal. I don't know whether she's a girl or a boy, but thank you very much. I will take all those kisses. Now, kinesthetic learning and why? Why do these young children, I've heard so many parents complain during lockdown, fidgety hai, ek jagah baithta nahi hai, kya karu main? So kinesthetic learning, remember, eye and the brain need each other in brain development. The eye and the hand need each other. So which means you need to keep children occupied in activities that will require both the hand movement and the eye. Now, if you are going to give them screen activities in which only the eye is involved, it's very bad for them. So eye and hand, the brain requires these two always. So select your activities very, very selectively. Is the hand going to be equally involved with the eye? Then this is a very good brain development activity. It's also important to understand why are children fidgety. Children fidget because they fidget with their hands or they fidget with their feet. Well, that's the sign of neuron development. When neurons are developing, the brain requires immediate stimulation. And so it tells the 5 senses to go and get that stimulation. Now, the taste buds, taste or sound is something that children take for granted. But it's the hands and the feet that they love, touch. They love to touch and they love to move. So it's a sign of brain development. So when a child becomes fidgety, it's a sign to you that you need to keep the eye and the hand involved, and then the children are going to stay occupied and happy. Kinesthetic also stands for movement. It is very important when you are planning these online curriculums, etc. What is the movement that you are giving them during the session? It is all talk, 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 or listen, listen, listen. So it's very important that you keep them moving during the session, like I did with you. I asked you to go and get an object. You can even do facial movements with them. You can tell them, blink your eyes, or let's try to twist our nose. Okay, is it happening? No, it's not happening. Am I able to shake my shoulders? So it's very important that you involve them with physical activity. Please understand 2 things why children get fidgety. Number 1, brain is sending them that impulse to move. And number 2, they lack impulse control. Brain develops from here to here. This is the thinking brain. It is not yet developed in children. This is where impulse control resides. So that is why these children lack that impulse control. When I feel the urge to be fidgety, if you don't keep me active in activities, I will go and touch things or I will go and hit people. So it's very, very important, friends, that the K in KISS stands for kinesthetic. And we must always try to ensure that everything that we plan for children, whether at home or in online learning, we keep kinesthetic in mind. Now let's move on to the I. The I stands for inquiry, inquisitive. You know, children are very curious about everything. But sometimes we end up only asking questions to them. We interrogate them. Have you eaten your food? Kabhi khaya? Kitna khaya? Kyun nahi khaya? We're always interrogating them like a prisoner. It's very, very important that we understand the word inquiry. We play what if games with them. So for example, if I were to ask you, what if clouds had strings? If I were to ask you that, what's the first thought that comes to your mind? Think about that first thought. Your first thought will be, wow, I will swing on those clouds. Or wow, I will pull those clouds down. All of you will think of nice things that you can do with the clouds. Now, in this game, I ask you a second question. What would happen to the birds and the aeroplanes if clouds had strings? And then your thought would go there, oh, while I'm pulling that cloud, birds could get endangered, flights could get endangered because a cloud suddenly comes in front of the pilot. So my last question in this game to you would be, should clouds have strings? So you understand it's a decision-making process. It helps the children go through pros and cons, and it makes them thinkers. So today, try this with children. What if Mumbai was made of chocolate? Ask them the question, see the questions that come. There are 3 questions that you have to do in this game. Your first one I've already given you. The second one you would say, what would happen to your teeth or your health? And your last question is, should Mumbai be made of chocolate? So here happens the I of KISS. I of KISS is that inquiry, the inquisitiveness. You are making me question things. You are making me see not only the idea behind the question, you're making me see the reason behind anything that I want to know about. So in your online sessions also, ask questions. Why not have a show and tell? Let the child bring an object and let each child speak. This will develop impulse control because they will have to wait for another child to speak. And it's allowing them the opportunity to speak. Whereas right now, all online sessions are more of teacher talking, child listening, etc. So this is K for kinesthetic, I for inquiry and inquisitive. S, there are 2 S in KISS. Oh my God, there are 2 S in ASS also. Okay, fine. So KISS, S, the first S stands for security. It's very important for us to understand Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and safety is a child's first need. If you are not safe, I mean, it's a child's second need. The first is, of course, food and water. Nobody can survive without food and water. But immediately after food and water, it is safety, most important. Now, what does safety stand for us in this lockdown period? It stands for don't threaten children. Don't scare children. Even in the online mode of learning, without you realizing it, you may be making children more anxious because you may give some activities to do and a child may not have those items at home, or the child may not be in the mood to do it. And so the parents make them very anxious. Teacher ne bola hai, school ne bola hai, karna padega. So it is very important for us to understand that when we do these kind of things, the security of the child, that's my husband, who's offering me nicely, please have a glass of water. No, I have food and water is brought for me. Everybody should have a husband like mine. So basically, see how secure I feel, how looked after I feel. My Maslow's hierarchy of needs is completely taken care of. But in children, it is very important to understand there are certain threats that parents sometimes unknowingly add in their conversations. Haath dho lo, nahi to corona aa jayega. Isko chuna mat, nahi to corona aa jayega. So corona has become the next Gabbar Singh, you know. So we need to be very careful about how we talk to children about corona. It is important to be aware. It is important to be safe, but it should not become a threat to a child, that the child starts bedwetting, has bad dreams, etc. And the same with online learning. It's very important that teachers plan their online learning, keeping in mind everything that will be available in every child's house. Moods are very important. Always end your online learning by saying to the parent that I have given this activity for children to do, but it's okay if they can't do. Don't start the next day by saying, clap hands for Yash, clap hands for Samiksha, they have finished it. And the poor Bharat or Khushi who are left there, we feel, arey, I was not in the mood, my parents didn't give me the items and she's not clapping for me. So don't do these things. This is what is called security. We need to make children feel safe and secure. So it's very, very important to understand safety and security. I hope you understand that safety is when you take charge of things which are in your control and you ensure the safety of those things. Security is the unknown. You don't know, and yet you try to keep yourself secure from those things. Right now, we are trying to keep ourselves secure from Corona. So it is very, very important that we keep in mind this. So KISS, K, kinesthetic, I, inquiry, inquisitive, S, security. And the last S stands for social. It's very, very important that children right now want social development. They want to talk to somebody. But we are talking at them all the time. We are not talking to them. Talking to someone is like a ping pong game. There is a serve, there is a return. There is a serve, there is a return. So which means if I ask you something, I will wait, I will pause, I will hear your reply, and my next comment will be based on your reply. But most of the time we talk at children. That's not social development. So it's teaching them that social development is all about asking questions. So it's very important for us to understand this in online learning also. As I said before, have a show and tell. Let the child speak, because speaking is a very, very integral part of social development. Why don't we invite the family member, any one family member during online learning? So it is very important that when we were doing physical classrooms, we used to say, let's invite a pilot to talk to you all. Let's invite a doctor to talk to you all. Why can't we do it in online learning? Why can't, instead of seeing your boring face every day, the child is told that tomorrow a doctor is going to come and talk to us? And the children wait. The children wait for this new person who's going to come and talk to them. See, that is the social development I'm talking about. Do something out of the ordinary and yet in the ordinary which they were used to. So social development then happens in that way. Allow children to talk. I hate to use this word allow with talk. It shows that we as adults are superior and we will allow them to talk. So it would be more like motivate them to talk. Give them the chance to talk. Very importantly. How about asking children, how did you like today's session? How many points would you give it? How many of you, so let them share their views. What would you like tomorrow? Which song would you like to sing tomorrow? So it's okay if it's a Zoom class, but every child feels, I got a chance to speak. You may or may not have heard everybody, but you gave the chance to speak. And that is very important. So please remember that today, when we are in lockdown, KISS becomes the most important need of children and ourselves during lockdown. Now I come to you that object. I said I brought this object and all of you brought one object. Now I want you to use this object with KISS. So how will I use this object kinesthetically? So I would say, okay, let's have a race. Put this on your head and try to walk with it. Am I able to walk with it? Yes, I'm able to walk with it. Am I able to dance with it? So bring the kinesthetic in that object. I stands for inquiry. Let's ask some questions about this object. What can you see? Oh, I can see flowers. Can you also see where the flowers are? It's in a pot. What's the difference between a pot and a vase? Do you think these are real flowers or they are imitation flowers? What do you think real flowers have and imitation flowers don't? So your inquiry, your inquisitiveness, that starts. Your security. How do I keep this object safe? Or how do I keep myself safe from this object? Do you think this object can hurt me? So some objects can, some objects can't. For example, if any one of you brought a pen, yes, I shouldn't poke myself with these objects. So you are then doing your lesson on security, that how do I keep myself safe, or how do I keep this object that I have safe? And the last is social. How do I play a game with this, with another person? So maybe we can play that game where, okay, let's see who can balance this the most for the longest. So we can have a race and who can. So it's social development also involved in it. Guessing game, you can play a guessing game. You can cover this up, go to another person and say, I'm going to give you 3 guesses and I'm going to give you 2 clues. Can you guess what is here? So you saw kinesthetic, inquiry, security, social development in your lesson with everyday objects. And that's why I say, friends, KISS. It's very important. The other definition, the actual definition of KISS is keep it simple, silly. So that also falls into place here. Simple objects, keep it simple, silly. Think of physical development, think of inquiry, think of security, and think of social development. And there is your lesson plan. Teachers these days are very, very upset. How will I plan a lesson plan? I don't have my teaching aids. I don't have this. I don't have that. You just need an everyday object and there's your lesson plan for you. Also ensuring all-round development of the child. So friends, educators, parents, KISS during lockdown. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. It was an insightful session. Harsha, you can unmute all of them so everybody can talk to ma'am.
Or ma'am can talk to everyone.
Yeah, so we can all exchange the words now. So everybody's on unmute.
Yeah.
So it was a wonderful session, ma'am. It was all of you, all 7 of you. I have written a right word for all of you. You are dynamic, par excellence, and nobody can beat your intelligence and the way you all speak to all the participants and all the people online. So thank you so much, everyone. And
Thank you, Mansi. Thank you,
Farzana,
Mansi.
Farzana ma'am had to leave for another session, so she had to leave early. So we are thanking all the participants on behalf of Farzana ma'am also.
Thank you so much. And my
Thank
appeal
you. Thank
to
you.
the audience.
Thank you very much.
The format of the show, please let us know so that we can bring more ACA APER talks to all of you. So I would like to thank Mansi once again. I would
You're
like to
most
thank all the panelists who spoke brilliantly on a topic of their choice. And I would like to thank our lovely audience who always comes back for more webinars and keeps us inspired and enthusiastic.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Thank you.
Swati.
Thank you,
Thank
Mansi.
you,
Thank you,
friends.
everybody. Thank you.